Hello, hi. Looks like we have a small group today. So what I'll do is I'll do a general presentation. Then we can also, if you have questions or discussions, I can leave it open to anything related to scholarships or your study abroad scholarships, different opportunities through our office. So I'll do a general presentation through my PowerPoint, then I'll just show the website a little bit and just open up the questions. And if we end early, then so be it. So hi, I'm Morgan Bauer. I'm the Director of Office of Prestigious Awards. So today I'm going to go over just some general study abroad types of awards that go through our office. So I'll do a PowerPoint. If you have questions, feel free to chime in since there's only two of you. We can just make it like an open discussion. All right, so everyone can see this? Yes? So what is the Office of Prestigious Awards? What do we do? So we help students apply for different types of major international, national scholarships, scholarships for specific major, for whether it's graduate school, international study, specific fields, for maybe career opportunities that are tied into specific career opportunities, maybe through government. So these students, these recipients go on to national acclaim, very lucrative awards, and also just opportunity to help them propel their career. So how does OPA serve? So we serve as, first off, the campus representative for all these scholarships. So there are scholarships that require endorsement, and there are scholarships that don't require endorsement. Some of the ones that require endorsement means we have a UCF process. Those are Rhodes, Marshall, Truman, Goldwater, and those are just some of the few. And then there's also scholarships that don't require endorsement. So there are basically two different tracks. Either way, if there's scholarships that don't require endorsement, we can still help you through the process. So how do we help? We can help you identify opportunities, both internal, external. Most of our awards that we work with are external, however. Help you figure out what you have to do currently during your undergraduate or graduate career to put you in a good position to be competitive for these awards. And we help you through all stages of the process. We help you with the essays. We help you identify appropriate recommenders, questions in the application. So we help basically from A to Z. Some of the documents that can be required are academic transcripts, proof of citizenship if it requires citizenship, resume, CV, personal research statement, which is one of the main things we help with providing feedback and suggestions for edits. And again, we can help with support of figuring out letters of recommendation. So keys to success, I'm going to go over this really quickly just because I think it's just really helpful. For these scholarships, good grades is always one of those things where it is always helpful to put yourself in a better position if you have strong grades. Get involved in leadership positions, student organizations, basically getting involved on campus, maybe even off campus as well. Pursue research can open up avenues. Network with your professors, and that's just that is just guidance or something I recommend whether you're applying for scholarships or not, or even graduate school, because even for something like graduate school, you need letters of recommendation, which means that you want to build relationship with faculty. So if you've taken a course, go to their office hours, go talk to them, maintain those relationships. And then even if you've taken a course, don't just not contact them until you need a recommendation 2 or 3 years later. You want to keep up those relationships so that when you ask for a letter of recommendation down the line, they know that they still remember you. You've kept out the relationship for a couple of years, so therefore they can write a stronger letter. Investigate scholarship opportunities early. So again, the earlier you start looking at scholarships, the better. And then the other advice is look at what past scholarship recipients are doing now, which means that you can go to a lot of these scholarship foundation sites and look at past recipients and see what their profile is. So if they're an engineering student, for example, you can look at the type of things they got involved in on campus, off campus, in their local community, things that can position you to be more competitive. So from here, I'm just going to go over, I might be jumping around with slides, but this is just to show you how lucrative some of these opportunities are. I'm going over Truman really quickly, but it's not as much related to study abroad, but it can be if you're interested in public policy. So whether you're interested in education, environment, are you interested in a specific public policy and want to advocate for that policy as part of your career? This is something that you would apply for as a junior. And again, it's called the Harry Truman Scholarship. Gilman Scholarship, you may have heard it before. I know Study Abroad has done a brief presentation on it. But Gilman is for students that are looking to go abroad. You have to be Pell Grant eligible for the semester. Awards up to $5,000 for the academic year. But if you're looking to do a critical language, a language that is deemed critical, that you can get a total of $8,000. These are just some of the eligibility I have on the right side. Again, if you are Pell Grant eligible, highly consider applying for one of these awards. We help students through OPA, and also Study Abroad through Oliver McSturley help students apply for Gilman, because most students go through the traditional Study Abroad process and apply for Gilman that way. The Bourne Scholarship. The Bourne Scholarship. So the Bourne Scholarship is a scholarship to go abroad for a, they say prefer 6 months. You have to be studying a critical language to the US government. Some of these languages could be Arabic, Mandarin, Urdu. They're looking for to get students to be proficient in critical language deemed by the US government. So part of the eligibility is you have to be a US citizen. For the Bourne Scholarship, you have to be enrolled as an undergraduate. And again, which means that, let's say you're a senior, you want to apply for it, you basically have to leave some credits shy of graduation if you want to apply, let's say, as a senior, because you apply in the spring semester of your senior year. There's also something called the Bourne Fellowship, which is very similar to this program, which is something you can apply for either senior year or if you're in graduate school. This scholarship is really lucrative as well. I think the Bourne Scholarship is around $20,000, and the fellowship is up to $25,000. And again, I said they prefer that you propose a program of 6 months or longer. So for the Bourne Scholarship, just to give a few more details, you apply to a specific country, you design the program yourself. So for example, let's say you wanted to study Mandarin, or you have some Mandarin background, but you want to become even more proficient. You find a school in China, an intensive language program, and then design a proposal for Bourne. So it's up to you to design the project yourself, which means basically just finding a language intensive program abroad. So that's the gist of how that program works. And part of the conditions, you have to commit to 1 year federal service as part of getting this Bourne Award. Critical Language Scholarship, it's similar to Bourne in the sense that it's looking to get students proficient in languages that are deemed critical. So the big difference between critical language and Bourne is critical language is a summer program. So it goes over about 8 to 10 weeks over summer in a designated site. So instead of Bourne where you're designing a program, these programs are already set up for you for the summer. So let's say you're going to study, let's say you're studying Arabic, they'll just have maybe a site in Jordan, they'll have specific sites that are already set out. So you're really just applying for the scholarship and using your essays designed to explain why you want to become proficient in this language and so forth. So you don't have to design a project, which a lot of students find very appealing. The stipulation here is you have to be enrolled. There's no service requirement like you saw in Bourne, which means that you do not have to work for the US government for a year. All backgrounds are eligible. So some programs do require previous language study, which is on the website. And again, if that's something you're interested in, we can always set up individual meetings, which I'll talk about. I'll share my contact in a few minutes, but basically the way meetings work is I usually, for now, I'm doing 30 minutes Zoom sessions, so you can always email me to set up a meeting. Fulbright. So the Fulbright program is a program sponsored by the State Department. It's run by the Institute of International Education. It's a program to either teach English or complete a master's degree or do independent research. So those are the kind of the two different umbrellas. So you either apply for the English teaching background or the study research background. So the English teaching background is you work in a classroom and work as an English teaching assistant, and it's for 1 academic year. You apply to 1 country and 1 grant. The study research umbrella of Fulbright is where you apply to a specific country as well. You either apply to, again, either do graduate study or independent research. So for graduate study, you can propose like a 1-year master's degree. For independent research, you can design a research project. You should have some sort of background in your undergraduate education or graduate education to apply for an independent research grant. You apply as early as senior year, but students usually start working on their application junior year. And again, for all these, for Fulbright, it's open to all eligible fields. UCF is really successful with Fulbright. We had 11 students this year. So again, we're really, we've been really successful in the last 10 years, 20 years or so. Even every year we've become more successful in getting more Fulbright. So this is something you're interested in. I highly recommend it. Again, this is something you do after graduation. So this can something that can help you in your career. Fulbright is world renowned. It's definitely, it's been around for over 80 years or so. And I did mention before, as part of it, it's a cultural exchange program. So the backbone of what Fulbright is all about is a cultural exchange, about you taking American culture abroad and also taking, learning about that culture and bringing it back to the States. So that's really the mission, the backbone of Fulbright. As you can see below, those are just some of the UCF Fulbrighters that we have below from past years, just to see that they do all kinds of amazing and different things. I'll go through these really quickly because they do have an international component, which is the Pickering Undergraduate and Graduate Foreign Affairs Fellowship. It's now just the Pickering Graduate Affairs Fellowship. So the Pickering is a scholarship that allows you to get a 2-year master's degree and then works with you on becoming a foreign service officer. So it's almost like a direct connect to foreign service. To become a foreign service officer, regardless whether you do this program or not, you still have to take the foreign service test, foreign service officers test. But this is a great program that helps get you through the process and gives you mentorship to attaining the goal of eventually being a foreign service officer. As you can see, it's quite lucrative, up to $37,000 annually. You do summer internships between your masters. It's a really incredible program. The Pickering Fellowship has a financial aid component similar as the Gilman Scholarship. So that's just something to keep in mind for Pickering. The Wrangell International Scholarship, International Affairs Summer Program, Graduate Fellowship, they have a summer enrichment program where you go to Howard University for 6 weeks. Then they have the Graduate Fellowship, which is very similar to the Pickering, which funds your master's. and then also has that mentorship process to become a Foreign Service Officer. So those programs are very similar. The difference between Wrangle and Pickering is Wrangle is looking for underrepresented groups versus Pickering, which is more focused on financial aid. PPIA, Public Policy and International Affairs Program. That is a junior summer institute. It's 7 weeks. It's a really intensive summer program. And you go to different. There's like program sites designated across the country. So, for instance, like UC Berkeley, Princeton, they all have these designated sites where the curriculum can include economics, statistics, international policy issues, and so forth. And it's a really great, rigorous program designed to get you really competitive for different master's degree, and whether it's international relations or a related degree. So I highly recommend that if you're in your earlier of your undergraduate career and looking to apply for that. That is due in the fall of your junior year. Rhodes Scholarship, this is just, I throw one example of a UK scholarship. The Rhodes Scholarship is a scholarship to go abroad to Oxford to complete your graduate education. It's the most prestigious scholarship in the world, or it's deemed to be. So this is one of the hardest scholarships in the world to get. There's 30-something students that get it from the US every year. A lot of very famous people have become Rhodes Scholars. Probably one of the most prominent Rhodes Scholars, former President Bill Clinton was a Rhodes Scholar. So it's a pretty amazing program. You go to Oxford, so you're going to the UK for a year. Other UK scholarships include Marshall, Gates Cambridge. I don't have slides for them right now because I didn't want to go into detail, but just give you a sense that those opportunities are available. For Rhodes and Gates and Marshall to be competitive, you need to be doing outstanding academically, far and beyond advance in volunteer work, research, basically have to be an outstanding student, pretty much the best of the university. And we do have an internal process for selecting our Rhodes endorsement each year. Where do you go from here? So I'll pull up the website just to give you a sense of what our website has to offer. And then that's also my information below. So if, you can also email me directly for an appointment. So it's either opa@ucf.edu or morgan.bauer@ucf.edu, which is my administrative email. So those are ways to contact the office. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pull up the website. So this is the Office of Prestigious Awards website. If we go to scholarships and fellowships, award descriptions and deadlines, this has a variety of opportunities with different types of filters. So if I do careers in government service, a whole list comes up with a description and a link. If I go to scholarship for international study, start listing some of the scholarships you saw for international study. And obviously, as you can see, there's more on this list than I even talked about during this because I didn't want to overwhelm you. But you can go to the website, go to this international study section and start looking at all the different opportunities for international study because there really are a huge amount of scholarships available. Another section to notice is helpful resources. We list some of the resources on campus that we find really helpful for students applying for different opportunities. And then we also have some information videos. Some of that information in the general one you've already seen. I do an in-depth Fulbright info session that's on the website. So if you want to learn all about Fulbright, which I do it's about a 50-minute video, which guides you through the whole process, we have that there. And then we have someone who is a current foreign service officer, who's an alum of UCF, who talks about opportunities through the State Department. So that's a really great Zoom video as well to watch. And that concludes my general presentation. So I know we have plenty of time. We'll be able to stop early as well if there's not too many questions, but I'm here just to answer questions, talk about specific opportunities. Where do you go from there? And so I'm going to stop share right now and just kind of open up the floor to see if anyone wants any questions or ask any questions. So UCF, we can nominate more than one Rhodes a year. This year we nominated 2 Rhodes Scholars. It really depends on the year. We do have a faculty committee that makes decisions on who we nominate, but we can nominate more than one, yes. And if you're interested in something like Rhodes, this is something where you can come talk to me and we can talk about what would make you competitive, what you need to do to enhance your application to be competitive, to not only get the nomination, but be competitive for the award in general. And as far as Rhodes, there's also, I know I mentioned there's Mitchell if you're interested in Ireland too. There's the Mitchell Scholarship, which wasn't sure if I mentioned, but that's similar to the other UK ones. You're welcome. Any other questions? We have loads of time, so if you do have questions, I'll give you a minute. But otherwise, I'll end it. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for joining. I'm going to put my email again. Oh, the password for today. You're going to have to give me a minute on that. I know I was given that. Forgot about that. I'm going to put it in the chat. Give me a second. That's the password. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your week. And again, my email, I'm putting it right here just so you have it. If you're interested in doing one-on-one Zoom sessions with me where we can talk about what opportunities will be a good fit for you, I'm happy to meet with you. Okay. Well, thanks everyone for joining today.